Good morning to one and all. In previous classes, we have completed single level inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance. Today we are going to learn multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance is that we are going to have a number of parents and we have only one child. We are going to have a number of parents. Like example here we can check, we have an A and this is B, this is C and this is D. These are the parents. Okay, these are the parents. And for these parents, they are going to have only one child, which is called E. And it is going to be get extracted. This is going to be get extracted. All these things are comes to the E here. And make sure that inheritance, we are going to have for one child, we are going to have only one parent. We have only one parent for one child. One child, one parent. That's it. But whereas coming to here for multiple inheritance, we have multiple parents and we have only one child. Okay, we have multiple parents and only one child. You can check with the figure here. We have n number of parents at this side, and we have only one child. Okay, when we have this type of situation, we have we have one problem. What is that problem in the sense? Same methods. Sometimes they maybe have some methods here. The same method going to be have in this parent. Which method has to be extracted by this child, we don't know. There is an ambiguity in multiple inheritance. When we have a parent like at the right side and we have another parent at the left side. There is one method which is called as sum in the right parent. And there is another method which is called as sum in the left parent. Okay. Now, when I call sum method for this child, from which parent it has to extract, don't know. For this, there is an ambiguity here. Is it clear with the multiple inheritance, how it works and what is an ambiguity which occurs in the multiple inheritance? Is it clear? Yes, I'm asking for you people. Is it clear? See, multiple inheritance is nothing but we are going to have a number of parents and only one child. That's it. Okay, when we go for an implementation, when we have a method called similar to the A and C, and when we extract the method from the E class don't know from which parent I have to extract that particular method. So this is an ambiguity which occurs in the multiple inheritance. Okay, how to solve this multiple inheritance ambiguity in the sense, we have a concept which is called as interfaces. Using the interfaces, we can we can solve the problem which has occurred in the multiple inheritance. Is it clear for everyone? What do you mean by multiple inheritance? What is a problem which occurs to the multiple inheritance? Students, I'm asking for you people, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next. Coming to the advantages and disadvantages of inheritance. Interfaces we will learn in the next level. Don't worry, I'll solve this issue there. Okay, advantages and disadvantages. The first advantage we have, which is called as reusability. What do you mean by reusability in the sense? Suppose we have a class called A and child B, where we are inheriting the properties. So I have written some method which is called as sum. The same sum has to be used by the B. When I create a relationship, whatever the written sum code which is there in the class A, that can be extracted by the class B. So I need not to be recode the sum method. So it is a reusability already which is there in the parent class. You can extract and you can work it. So we are reusing the method which is present in the parent class. Next, reusability enhanced reliability. Reliability is nothing but where we have, it is very efficient. Why? Because already we have written a code and we have tested. So we need not to be write once again code and we have to test the code. So at that time, reliability will be more efficient there. Okay. And next, as the existing code is reused, it leads to less development and maintenance cost. As the name, I mean, here we can clearly specify that already if you have executed and if you have tested and if the code is working successfully in the parent classes, you need not to be rewrite the code once again in the child classes. So we have less development and maintenance cost. See, once already developed, again you need not to be developed. So the cost of developing is also very less. Maintenance cost is also very less, so you need not to be bothered for that. These are the three advantages which are there for inheritance. Now we look for disadvantages. Now, inherited functions work slower than normal functions as there is an indirection. Like example, we have A, B extracts A, C extracts B, D extracts C. Now when I create an object for class D and I call a method which is present in the class A, it has to search in the class C has to search in the class B has to search in the class C, then it will get into the existence of execution of code. So at that time, till this process goes, the works will be very slower. For that, this is the one disadvantage we have. The second thing we have, data members in the base class are left unused, which may lead to memory wastage. Suppose in the class A, you have declared int A, comma B. And these variables, if you have not used in the class B and class C, then it's of no use. It's of no use for extracting the another ways. So it's a waste of memory only. That's the way second point says. And the third point, a change in the base class will affect all the child classes. See, class A is having some expectations with some feature. Okay, based on that feature, you have developed one method. The same method you might be extracting for the class B with some property. So at that time in the class A, the feature wants some extension. So at that time, code will also get changes in the class A. The same method you are going to extract it in the class B. At that time, you are going to get an changes affected for the class B and it will not work for some features. So there is a major advantage which is there in the inheritance. Is it clear for everyone what is advantages and disadvantages of inheritance? Students, I'm asking for you, is it clear for everyone? Have you understood multiple inheritance? Have you understood multiple inheritance?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now we'll shift for the execution of codes. Now, as I've said that multiple inheritance we cannot resolve until we complete the interfaces concept. So now I'll come up with the one new topic which is called as super keyword. Super keyword. There is a keyword called super. How it works, for what purpose we are going to use this super keyword, we are going to see now. So can anyone say that in the earlier classes, what are the different keywords you have learned? Hope as of my knowledge, you have learned two keywords. May I know what are the two keywords that? May I know what are those two keywords? Yes. You have learned static keyword and this keyword. Today you are going to learn up with a super keyword. You are going to come up with a super keyword. Now, my question is, for what all the statements we can apply super keyword? For what all the statements we can apply super keyword? One, I can apply for a variable. Two, I can apply for method. Okay. You can call a variable with a super keyword and you can call a method with a super keyword, with a super this. Okay. And we can invoke a constructor also. We can invoke a constructor also. Okay, super keyword is used to extract the methods which are present in the immediate parent. Super keyword is used to extract a variable methods which are present in the immediate parent. Immediate parent. Okay, now you say me. Suppose I have a class A. Class A is class B. Class B is extracting class A parent methods and variables. I have a class C. Class C extracting class B. And I have class D. It is extracting class C. Now, if I declare a super keyword in the class C, which class methods it is going to be extracted?
B, sir.
B. It is clearly mentioned in the super keyword which extracts immediate parent. So when I clearly specified a super, it extracts a B class methods and variables. If I declare a super keyword in the D, which class variables I'm going to extract with the super variable? Sorry, super keyword. It is going to extract it only with the class C. So at the same way, it is going to extract it with the immediate parent. And make sure that you cannot write a super keyword in the parent class of the first class, A class. You can write it only for your derived classes. Now I'm going to explain for you a super class variables. I'll be applying a super keyword for variables. Class super variable string color is equal to white. Okay, string color is equal to white. I have mentioned. I am closing this color variable. Now what I'm going to do, I'll create another one class here, public class dog, public class dog, which extends. Okay, wait, give me 1 minute. I'll refactor this name. I'll change it to animal so that I'll save the code here. Super animal. So public class is animal. Changed. So public class dog, which extends animal, So now I'm going to save. Dog must be defined in its own file. Okay, fine. I'll change the file. Control X. I'll create another one class which is called of dog type, and I'll finish it. I'll create public class dog extends animal. Now here what I'm going to write, I'm create another one color string color is equal to I'll specify it as a black and I'll give semicolon. In the dog method, what I'm going to write, I'm going to write one method. So public void print color, that's it. So here what I'm going to write, I'm going to extract the variables which are present in the dog class as well as of animal class. So system dot out dot println dog class color is equal to plus color, and make sure that whenever you are extracting the same class variables, you need not to make use of super keyword. You have to make use the super keyword only to extract immediate parent class variables and methods. Okay, now system dot out dot println open animal class color is equal to, forget you, plus. How to extract animal class variable in the sense using super keyword. Super dot. Now you're going to get all the methods which are present in the animal class. So you can check it out here. I have a color which is present in the animal class, which is of data type string. So you can double click on it. So now we are going to extract animal class color. Now save this code. I'll create another one class, tester class. So I'll class tester. I'll include main method. Just click on finish. Now can anyone say me for which class I can create an object? Can anyone say me for which class I can create an object?
Dog class.
Dog class. So I'll create dog. D is equal to new dog. Open and close parenthesis. That's it. Oh my God. Dog. Okay, now D dot. Saved it. Save the code. Okay. D dot. You can extract print color. Print color. That's it. Save the code. Now you can run it. You can clearly have a look on the here in the run part. Dog color is black. I'll go to the dog class and my color is black. Now I can go for animal. Animal color is white. So animal class color is white. Is it clear for everyone how to extract the variables which are present in the parent class? Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now what I'm going to do, the same animal class, I'll go here. I'll create one method here. Public void eat. Public void eat. In this method, I'll write this. I'll write something system dot out dot println. Okay, I'll write it eating. I'll write eating and I'll save the code. That's it. In the animal class, just I have written eat method. That's it. I'm not going to write anything. So now I'll come back to the dog class and here I'll write another one method. I'll remove this print color method and I'll write eat method. Okay, same eat, which I've written in the animal class. The same thing I'm going to write it in the dog class. And now, here what I'll do, system dot out dot println, I'll write eating bread. Eating bread, I'll write it. That's it. This is one method which is present in the dog class. Now what I'll do, I'll create another one method which is public void bark. However, dog will bark, so I'll create a bark method. System dot out dot println dog, what will do? Barking. So I'll write barking. I'll give semicolon. That's it. I have written two methods. One is eat method and another one is bark method, which is located in the dog class. And in the animal class, I have only eat method. Now, what I'll do, I'll create one simple method, public void work. I'll create one method which is called as work. In this work method, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call super.eat. Super.eat method. That's it. This is how I can call a method which is present in the parent class method. Parent class method. Public void work. In this work method, I'm going to call parent class method, which is called as eat method. So I have called super.eat. Now here I'll call bark method. PARK, open and close. That's it. And save the code. Now what I'll do, I'll go for tester class. Now here in the dog, what I'm going to do, d.work. D.work I'll call. Now can anyone say me what will be your output? What will be your expected output when I execute d.work? Students, I'm asking for you people, when I execute d.work method, dog class work method, what will be your expected output? What will be your expected output? See, when I execute d.work, it will jump into the dog class, it will jump into the work method. In that work method, I have clearly mentioned super.eat. So now it will come to the starting line, d.dog, public class dog extends animal. So it says that, okay, it is extracting animal. No, I have to jump to the animal class. It will search into the memory and it will jump into the animal class and it will execute eat method first. First, it will execute eat method. Later, once it is executed and it will come back to the work. Now it will stay here. Now it clearly specified only just bark method. So now runtime for this JVM, it will understand, okay, I want to execute current class bark method. So now it will jump into the bark method and it will execute only bark method. Now it's done. Again, it will come back to the tester class and it will wait here. So now your program termination is done. Your execution is done and your program terminates here. See, eating, barking. See, d.work. Okay, fine. It will come super.eat. It will enter into the super.eat, which is present in the animal class. So now we can check it out. Eating. Okay, now again it will come back. Bark. So it will enter into the bark method. It will execute your system.out.println barking. So once it's done, again it will come back to the tester. Your program terminates here. Is it clear? Barking and eating. Is it clear, students, how to extract super class method? Sorry, super class methods, like parent class methods with the super keyword? What about the others? Rakshita, Prakruti. Okay, fine. Nimmala, Girish, Yashas.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Anusha, Anam. Let's proceed to the next concept of super word.
Sir, your voice is echoing.
Okay, fine. Give me one minute. I'll log out and so. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, till now we have learned how to extract parent class variables with the super keyword, and we have learned how to extract parent class methods with the super keyword. Now we are going to learn constructors, how to use super keyword in the constructors. We are going to learn constructors, how to make use of super keyword in the constructors. So same, I'll go for animal class. Here I'm going to create one constructor, public animal. That's in this animal, I'm going to write system dot out dot println. System dot out dot println animal is created. That's it. Animal is created, and give semicolon. It's done. So now, whereas coming to your dog class, So now I'm going to create one method, constructor, which is known as public dog. Now, make sure that whenever you're working with the super keyword in the constructors, the first statement in the constructor should be used with the super. Okay, make sure that whenever you are going to use a super keyword in your constructors or methods, or whenever you are calling a variables, the super keyword must and should be used in the first line, of that particular method. Okay, see, I have written super keyword in the constructor at the first line. So now I'm going to create one normal statement, system.out.println dog is created. That's it. I'll save the code. Now you can check it out. When I've written in the first line super keyword, I don't have any errors. So when I cut and copy paste below the system out.println, now you're going to get an error. Is it clear? Students, kindly respond to the for what questions I'm posing. See, when I write super keyword below the system.out.println, I'm going to get an error. Okay, so make sure that whenever you're calling a super keyword in the constructor, it has to be placed in the first line itself. So then you're not going to get any errors. Is it clear for everyone? Students, is it clear? Now
Yes,
I'll
sir.
save. Okay, now I'll save the code. Now the main tester class will be as it is. Now can anyone say me what will be your output? What will be your output? Else I'll mark it as a comment. Now say me what will be your output? Just analyze the code and say me what will be your output.
So the constructor part of animal class will be executed first, and then dog is the animal will be printed.
Exactly, it is correct. See, dog D is equal to new dog. The object is created. When the object is creating, directly it will move to the constructor first. So now it will jump into the constructor. It will check, okay, first line itself we have a super. So it will jump into the animal class super. So now, sorry, animal class. So now it will execute animal class constructor. Later it will come back to the dog class constructor. It will execute the remaining statements. Once the constructor executing is done, it will go back to the tester class. And rest, if you have any statements to execute, it will work, and then program terminates. Now I'll run the code and you can check it out. See, now animal is created first. Later dog is created. So why? Because in the dog constructor, we are clearly specified in the first line super. Super in the sense it will jump to the parent class constructor and it will execute and it will come back to the current class constructor, and that will be executed and it will be returned back to the main method. Okay. Now you say me, what will be your expected output? What will be your expected output? It is very similar. How I have explained, I mean, what I have explained in the previous, when you're extracting super with the method, the same way. First, it will extract animal and then it is dog class bark. And this is same as it is. Is it clear for everyone how to create a constructor with a super keyword? Yes, is it clear for everyone? Do anyone have a doubts? Do anyone have a doubts regarding super keyword with a variable, method extracting, and how to use the super keyword in the constructor? Yes, may I know, do anyone have a doubts? Okay, fine. Till now we have seen we are passing an empty constructor. Now we will see parameterized constructor. Now we will see a parameterized constructor. I'll close all these files. In the super keyword only, I'll create one class which is known as person. New class person. And I'll finish it. That's it. Okay. In the person class, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use two variables. One is of int data type, another one is for string data type. For the int data type, I'm going to use an ID. For string data type, I'm going to use a name. And I'll give semicolon. That's it. Now I'm going to create a constructor. So public person, open and close parenthesis. Within this person, now I'm going to include a parameters. Okay, one is for int ID, comma, string name. ID, comma, string, sorry, ID, comma, name I'm used as a parameters. Now you say me, here also I have an ID, here also I have a same name, here also I have same name, ID, name and name. How to differentiate instance variables with the local variables?
This keyword, sir.
Exactly. This dot ID is equal to ID. This dot name is equal to name. That's it. Now we have saved the code. This is just a parameterized constructor. Now I'll create another one class which is called as an employee. So I'll create an EMP class. That's it. So I'll click on finish. Now, here what I'm going to do, I'll create one variable which is of salary, float type, FLOAT, float type, which is called it as in salary. I'll give semicolon. Now, I'll create one constructor here which is called public EMP and then close parenthesis. Now you will say me, if I want to call a person class constructor in the employee class, what should I do here? Yes. Make sure here we have a parameterized constructor, ID and string name. Whereas coming to here, I have a empty parameters. Whether can I call a super keyword here? Whether can I call super keyword here? The answer is no. And make sure that whenever you're calling super keyword, you have to check whether for that particular constructor we have a parameterized constructor or not. If it is a parameterized constructor, we have to pass same data type values to that particular constructor. So in the person class, we have ID and name as the parameters to the person constructor. So with the super keyword also, you have to pass two parameters. So employee int ID comma string name comma float comma salary. And now what I'm going to do, this dot salary is equal to salary. Now what I'm going to do, super ID comma name. Now say me whether the code is correct. Whether code is correct. Students, I'm asking for you people whether my code is correct of employees class.
No, sir.
Why? Why it is wrong? Where it went wrong?
Sir, super should be called above.
Above in the sense above the employee method?
No, sir. In that public employee, in the constructor.
Above the salary key variable, I can have to specify super. Then only I can extract this. Remove arguments to match what it went wrong here. Yes, it is correct. Here I have, it has to match public person. Yes, it is correct. Save the code here. Has to match correctly exact super ID. That's it.
So employee isn't extended to the person class.
Exactly. Sorry. Extends person. Extends person. Thank you. Extends person. Then you can check it out. Super is having, it is immediately calling the person's constructor. Okay. Okay. Public class employee extends person. So now it is calling person class constructor. Now what I'm going to do here, in the employee class, I'll create one method which is called as display. Public void display. Public void display. Now I'll call system.out.println. Println. Now ID. Is it clear? ID plus name plus salary, and I'll give semicolon. Save the code. That's it. So ID, name, salary. I have extracted from the person class. So now I'll go back to I'll create another one, tester class. So I'll create one class which is called as tester super. Now I'll include main method, finish it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a object, employee is equal to new EMP. Now say me, how many parameters I have to pass for the employee class? How many parameters? 3 parameters. One is ID, another one is string data type, second parameter, so I'll write it Sam. Another one is, it is of a salary which is a float type, so I'll write it 99,000.90 F, and I'll give semicolon. Save the code. Now what I'll do, e.display will call. That's it. So now what is going to be happen here in the sense, clearly analyze the code. Employee is equal to new employee 2, and this. The statement. Once it has created an object, first it will execute the parameterized constructor of the employee. It will jump to the employee and it will execute this parameter, this constructor. Now in the first line itself, it is passing super ID comma name. Whatever the values you are passed here, it will keep it here and it will jump to the person class. Now here it will initialize the values which what all the brought it from the employee, where ID is equal to ID. It will assign whatever the name which has been brought from the employee, it will be assigned to the name. So now it will come back to the employee class. Now here I have this dot salary is equal to salary. It will execute the salary now. Now once it is done, again it will come back to the tester class. Now there is object creation is done, constructor execution is done. Now I'll call e.display. So once I call an e.display, it will jump into the employee class and it will search for display. Once it found a display method, it will execute that particular method. So now you can check it out here. I have an ID, name, salary. So obviously I have clearly specified there is a relationship between an employee and person. So I can easily extract the variables which are present in the person class. So I'm extracting ID, name, salary. That's it. And it is going to be printed on the screen. So when I run the code, you can check it out to some value it is displayed. Is it clear for everyone how to make use of super keyword with the parameters? Students, I'm asking for you people, is it clear everything? First, what is an ambiguity which occurs in the multiple inheritance? Second, how to make use of super keyword with the variables, methods, and constructors. And in constructors, and make sure that whenever you have a parameterized constructors, how to make use of super keyword with the parameters. Do anyone have a doubts? Do anyone have a doubts? Okay, fine, we'll stop it here and we'll continue in the next class. Thank you.